Hi everyone! Welcome back to another exciting episode of Ananya's Science Mysteries. Today, we're going to discover the fascinating science behind one of nature's most magical insects. Have you ever wondered why fireflies glow in the dark? Let's join Ananya on her amazing adventure and uncover the mystery together. Ananya could hardly contain her excitement. Her school had organized a weekend camping trip to a beautiful forest, and she couldn't wait to explore it with her classmates. Their class teacher, Mrs. Mira, led the children through winding forest trails. They listened to birds singing, identified different trees, played fun outdoor games, and learned fascinating facts about nature. As the sun slowly disappeared behind the hills, everyone gathered around the campsite. The cool evening breeze rustled the leaves, and the forest grew quieter. Then, suddenly, tiny glowing lights began floating among the trees. The children gasped in amazement. "Look!" one student exclaimed. "They're tiny stars!" Ananya watched the mysterious lights dancing through the forest. Her eyes sparkled with wonder. "They really do look like little stars," she whispered. But were they really stars? As the children watched, the glowing insects blinked on and off while drifting through the night. Some flashed quickly. Others glowed for a few seconds before disappearing into the darkness. No one could take their eyes off them. Finally, Ananya turned to her teacher. "Ma'am, are those really tiny stars?" Mrs. Mira smiled warmly. "No, Ananya, those are fireflies." Ananya's eyes widened with surprise. Fireflies? But how can insects make light? Mrs. Mira smiled again. "That's an excellent science question. Instead of giving you the answer right away, let's investigate it together, like real scientists." Mrs. Mira gathered the children together. "Good scientists don't rush to answers," she said. "They observe carefully first." The children quietly spread out around the campsite and began watching the fireflies. Ananya noticed something interesting. No two fireflies flashed exactly the same way. Some blinked every few seconds. Others flashed much faster. She even spotted one resting quietly on a leaf. Its tiny light switched on, then off again. She carefully wrote in her notebook, "Clue number 1, fireflies blink in different patterns. Clue number 2, their light doesn't seem hot." Just then, another student looked puzzled. If they're making light, why don't they get burned? Now everyone became even more curious. What was the secret behind these amazing little insects? The next morning, Mrs. Mira gathered the class beneath a large, shady tree. Holding up a picture of a firefly, she smiled. "Yesterday, you observed like scientists. Today, let's discover the answer." The children listened carefully. Inside every firefly's body, Mrs. Mira explained, is a natural chemical called Luciferin. There is also a special enzyme called Luciferase. When Luciferin, Luciferase, oxygen, and energy work together, they create light. The most amazing part is that this light produces almost no heat. This special process is called bioluminescence. The children stared in amazement. Ananya smiled brightly. "So they're carrying tiny natural lights inside their own bodies?" Mrs. Mira nodded. "Exactly. And that's one of nature's most amazing science wonders." A few days after returning to school, Mrs. Mira asked every student to write an excursion report about the camping trip. Ananya carefully prepared hers. She filled it with colorful drawings of fireflies and explained everything she had learned about bioluminescence. She even drew a simple diagram showing how luciferin, luciferase, oxygen, and energy work together to produce light without creating much heat. Soon, all the reports were submitted to the headmaster. The next morning, a message arrived. The headmaster would like to see Ananya. Ananya's heart skipped a beat. "Oh no," she whispered. "Did I make a mistake in my report?" With tiny, nervous steps, she walked into the headmaster's office. The headmaster looked at her report and smiled kindly. "So, Ananya, can you tell me why fireflies glow?" Taking a deep breath, Ananya answered confidently. Fireflies glow because of a special chemical reaction called bioluminescence. Their bodies use luciferin, luciferase, oxygen, and energy to produce light. They use this light to communicate and find one another. The headmaster smiled proudly. "Excellent, Ananya. You observed carefully, investigated like a true scientist, and explained it beautifully." He applauded her wonderful work. Soon, everyone in the office joined in clapping. Ananya's nervousness disappeared, replaced by a big, proud smile. A few days later, Ananya looked through the photographs from the camping trip. One picture showed dozens of glowing fireflies lighting up the forest like tiny floating lanterns. She smiled. They no longer looked like mysterious little stars. Now she understood the incredible science behind their glowing lights. Just then, she looked out of her bedroom window. The bright moon shone high in the night sky. She tilted her head and wondered, why does the moon change its shape? Just then, Ananya's mother, who came there, smiled and said, "That sounds like another wonderful science mystery, Ananya." She couldn't wait for her next adventure, because every question leads to a new discovery.